Today we're going to be looking at some artistry from the Fender Custom Shop, specifically an Artisan Koa Thinline Telecaster. We are huge fans of their entire Artisan line. We're going to tell you more about the line and this specific guitar, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, make sure to visit our Teespring store below, where you can find our custom designed t-shirts. Like this one that I'm wearing of our downtown historic storefront, which is where we are. Not in front of the store, but we're in the store. And we've got this beautiful Fender Custom Shop Artisan Thinline Koa Telecaster. And it is Koalicious, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So if you are not familiar with Fender's Custom Shop Artisan series, we've shown them on this channel before, but let me kind of give you a breakdown of what you can find from the custom shop. Because Fender's Custom Shop literally is a custom shop. You could basically get effectively just about whatever you want until they told you no. They are true craftsmen and artisans there. And this line reflects that. It reflects their aesthetic, their ability to create new things, and also use the finest materials. Now, from the custom shop, there's a number of things that you're likely to see on shelves or be able to purchase. One of them are the vintage models, which we've shown, like the Journeymans, the Relics, or even the new old stock or NOS. These are all basically different versions of vintage guitars from Fender's yesteryear. So they are remakes of 50s and 60s guitars, mostly Strats and Teles. You'll see Jazzmasters and Jaguars in there with various different treatments on the wear. So you can get a guitar that's vintage, that's like you just bought it, like you time traveled back to the 50s and bought a Strat, or you can have a guitar that is basically a reproduction of a guitar that was made but then saw lots of wear through the years in the hands of musicians over lots of gigs, and there's various degrees of relicking. And all of you guys have opinions on that. We're not here to discuss any of that. Then you also have guitars that they make for individuals. You often see these in the hands of professional artists because, one, they can afford them. And those are the pie-in-the-sky dream guitars. You have some, right? Like what you, if like money was no object, what you would probably have them build.
Yeah.
And it'd probably just be a white Strat.
Absolutely. Gotta go white Strat. Maybe a closet classic.
Mine would glow. No, I don't know. But you could have effectively anything made, and a good resource of seeing some of this stuff is Fender's Custom Shop calendar that they come out with each year, although you don't need a calendar for 2020, evidently. But, you know, in prior years, you can see, let's see, they had Hula Girl stuff and Matchbox stuff, all sorts of interesting creations. Artisan guitars fill out another area because they are not vintage per se, but they often have vintage specs to them. And you can say that they are works of art that are crafted with the highest grade exotic materials that Fender is able to procure. So we're going to talk about the specs on this guitar to give you an idea of what you could find in the Artisan series and exactly how awesome this guitar is. So give us a rundown of some of the specs.
Yeah, some of the coolest stuff about it. You know, it's got the incredible Koa top.
We love Koa.
Yeah, we're big Koa fans
Koa's
over
great.
here. You know, herringbone and tortoiseshell binding that matches the tortoiseshell pickguard.
No tortoises were harmed in the making of this guitar. It's faux tortoiseshell.
Yeah.
You've got to be woke.
Yeah, you got to do it. Nocaster pickups, and on the neck pickup it's exposed, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
so you've got, you know, these are cool because they're Nocaster, they're hand wound, custom shop, and you know, we've done some custom shop videos with actual like 52 Teles reproduced. The Nocasters, I don't know about you, but they are my favorite Telecaster pickups.
They're awesome. Yep, I mean, and especially with the thin line, the resonance of this guitar is just incredible. You're hearing the demo. But then on the back of the neck, it's this beautiful bird's eye that's just incredible. It's got the vintage style tuners with the tortoise shell matching tuning knobs. It's great. The frets pretty rolled and super comfortable. It's yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
you know, it's interesting. There was to promote another channel, there's a great YouTube channel with Philip McKnight that is Know Your Gear, and he interviewed one of the Fender Custom Shop builders, and he asked them, like, what's the difference between like a Squire and a Made in Mexico player Strat and a US Strat, and something that you'd go up to Custom Shop. And one of the biggest differences comes down to the actual attention to detail when they're building it. So when you're feeling like the rolled aspect of the frets, that's detailed, like hand done work that one of the craftsmen in the custom shop took a file and got really close and just made sure that nothing was spared. There's close attention to detail, and it feels fantastic. And in this case, the specs are a good combination because it's a modern radius. It's 9.5-inch radius, but it's like an early 60s C shape. So it's a little thicker C shape that feels fantastic in the hand. Bird's eye maple neck never disappoints, and it's got this nice roasting to it.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I think often gets glossed over in these, because we look at the gorgeous, let me see it real quick, these gorgeous Koa top. And, oh man, Koa, if you should be familiar, if you're not, it's Hawaiian Koa, grows on one place in the entire world, in the Hawaiian Islands. That's it. There's not that much of it. And it is striking and beautiful, and it sounds fantastic on electric guitars and acoustic guitars. But the body of this guitar is also special. This is Fiji mahogany. And Fiji mahogany is actually directly related to Honduran mahogany. It was replanted in Fiji. That turns out to be a great environment for mahogany to grow. So it is real mahogany. It is not like a kind of wood that's like mahogany. It's actual mahogany. And the combination of these two produces this beautiful warmth that, combined with everything else, is just a fantastic tone. The resonance, like you talked about. And then again, going to the fact that it's like exotic materials, even the fretboard is African blackwood. So there is not a piece of material used on this, except for maybe steel, that is readily available, easy to come by, and isn't in some way special or very rare. I mean, look at the bird's eye maple on this neck. There is bird's eye maple, and then there's bird's eye maple, and this is really well figured bird's eye maple. It is not all created equal. So, all right, I'm going to hand that back to you. It's got the vintage style bridge and RSD brass saddles. So if you are a Tele fan, what you know is that we all typically prefer the vintage style brass saddles, but the downside to them is that you cannot intonate them correctly. It's kind of close, it's like not quite there. The RSD saddles fix that. So you have all of the sustain that you want, that sound and tone from brass saddles, but you get that fine-tuned intonation ability that you want for your electric guitar. So all in all, fantastic. It's also got the Fat 50s tele wiring and a 3-way switch. So you've got your ultimate, beautiful, artisan-grade Thinline Telecaster. So we're going to spoil you a little bit here because we're going to show you what the thing sounds like, but you've already spent some time with it. What are you're a fantastic electric guitar player. What are your opinions? Yeah, you're welcome. What are your opinions on the tone and feel of this guitar? Honest opinions. Everyone wants to know the truth before they drop down their hard-earned money for this guitar.
Totally. I think something to listen to in the playing demo is how open and resonant it sounds, and the warmth from the tonewoods. It's kind of what you would expect from a Thinline Telecaster. There's brightness, and they're very articulate sounding pickups, but there's something special about, you can't see it, but you can feel the whole thing vibrating in your hands. It's a really well balanced guitar. It feels great, and it's that warm woody tone that you kind of look for in a Thinline, but with Tele snap, and just kind of hits the sweet spots.
I like that they've done a bones nut on this as well. The combination of that and the brass saddles, and everything together makes up a guitar. And what I find interesting is people often ask, is there a big difference between custom shop and production? And I think there is. I think whether or not it's worth the money depends upon you as a player, but something that you said seems to be commonplace with a lot of custom shop instruments that we try, particularly electric guitars, regardless of brand, and that is like this openness.
Yeah.
And I have a theory about that, and this is probably another video we should do sometime, but you know, I've said before, and I stole this from Paul Reed Smith, that guitars are like functional physics experiments, because what you are experiencing is effectively the vibrating length of the string of the guitar being picked up by what are, in essence, microphones. That's what the pickups are. So if anyone ever tries to tell you that what the guitar is made of doesn't matter, that's not true. That's a lack of understanding. It's an ignorant statement. Everything matters, and particularly the things that the strings come into contact with matter, whether it's the frets as you're playing, the nut, the saddles, and then how all of those respond to the rest of the body. And so when we say it sounds open, I think what that's illustrating is the quality of the construction of the guitar allowing the strings to be musical, and for us to hear this breadth of frequency response that we want. And it's a stunning guitar, but it sounds killer too.
It does. Yeah.
So we're going to stop talking, and we're going to let you hear the master play it himself and get an idea of exactly how open, musical, and fantastic this guitar actually is. Check it out. So there you have it. Fantastic Fender Custom Shop Artisan Thinline Koa Telecaster. It's a long name, but it's a deserving guitar. As I mentioned, they have a bunch of different Artisan guitars. I'm a huge Tele fan.
Yeah.
And I like Thinlines because they're lighter.
Yeah.
But they have something about them. They have this mid-range response that I think is part of the semi-hollow nature. I hear that in ES335s and things like that. That's part of the benefit of having something semi-hollow. But with this, you've also got that twangy bridge pickup.
Yeah.
You get like the best of both worlds.
Totally.
So really fantastic guitar, exotic appointments, materials, really a work of art. for the Artisan series. If you'd like more information about this guitar, go to our website, it's alamomusic.com. You can find information about this, other Fender guitars that we have in stock, custom shop and otherwise, even maybe other Artisan series. If you'd like to order something we don't have, we can help you with that as well, because there's chat right there on the website where you can chat with one of our sales specialists. They can help you find the perfect guitar to suit your needs, because at the end of the day, whether it's exotic Koa or not, the best guitar in the world,
That's what you're making music on.
it's the one you're making music on, that's right. So we want to help you do that. To that end, make sure that you are, if you are not already doing so, to like, subscribe, follow our videos. We're here to make sure that you know what's going on in the world of guitar, everything to do with your guitar, and eventually get you making the music you want to be making. So if you're not following us, make sure you do so. You'll see all of our videos coming and the ones that are to come with beautiful guitars like this. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.